I think in a word, resiliency is really how I would describe the past year for the Alberta Wheat and Barley Commissions, both from a producer perspective and our staff.
The thing that has really impressed me the most is the fact how well the staff and management have adapted to the conditions. They're tough conditions. And people are having to work from home more than they used to. And so, it's the interaction in the office isn't quite one-on-one because you're not there all the time.
It showed the resilience of our office staff and our team to be able to maneuver quickly to the home environment, and with getting the technical pieces in place to make that system work.
The Alberta Wheat and Barley Commissions have been involved in a number of different regulatory consultation processes, including the red tape reduction panel consultations that were held with a group of agricultural stakeholders very early on in the year. Regulatory changes to fusarium head blight were one of the outcomes of these meetings. The Alberta Wheat and Barley Commissions had brought this issue to the attention of the government from day one, since it was a resolution that was brought forward at the Alberta Wheat 2017 AGM. As such, this year we launched a new website, managefhb.ca, which is meant to serve as a portal for all things fusarium management in the province and a guide for farmers.
In November of 2019, the Alberta Wheat Commission again collaborated with Cereals Canada to go internationally and promote the new wheat crop. There were some concerns from international buyers given the difficulty of the 2019 harvest, and it was essential that farmers were there able to answer to questions directly from our international buyers about potential quality concerns. Our members were able to reassure those concerns and to continue to promote Canadian wheat as a safe, high-quality crop.
Right away from day one, when we got into a lockdown situation, we adjusted very quickly. We had to make representations to government on the things that were priorities on our list, one of which was declaring agriculture as an essential service.
At the height of the pandemic, the Commission spearheaded a weekly e-newsletter called the COVID19 Impact Analysis for Farmers. So we sent these out every Monday morning, and ultimately it was to keep farmers apprised of the ongoing situation and the changes that could be impacting their operations. The weekly newsletter consisted of updates on provincial and federal government relief programs, PPE shortages, and also market updates on farmers' commodities. Our updates received a great deal of attention from both mainstream media, industry stakeholders, and our farmer audience due to the timeliness of the releases and the reader-friendly format. Make sure you don't miss any other Commission updates. Go to our websites at albertawheat.com or albertabarley.com and click subscribe.
This past year saw a federal election. Our policy team worked to inform farmers of the agricultural platforms of all of the key parties. We worked to make sure that all of the parties and the candidates were well informed of the key priorities of Western Canadian farmers.
The 2019 harvest was extremely difficult for grain transportation. Delays in the harvest itself were followed by union issues that added further delays, followed by the protests, which disrupted a significant amount of the rail system. The Commission's responded to the growing grain backlog through public awareness, through media, and advocacy through government.
So along with our sister commissions in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, under the banner of the Canadian Wheat Research Coalition and the Canadian Barley Research Coalition, we finalized 4 core breeding agreements with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada and the University of Saskatchewan. Further negotiations are ongoing with the Universities of Alberta and the University of Manitoba. In March of 2020, Results-Driven Agriculture Research, otherwise known as ARDAR, was formed as an arm's-length funder from the provincial government.
We have developed protocols and procedures in conjunction with ARDAR so they continue to seamlessly operate, and we continue to be in compliance as required with the grant commitment given to Alberta Barley Commission by Ag and Forestry.
Going into the spring season, we recognized that we needed to develop new tools to communicate with farmers, and that in the main they would be virtual tools. We developed the in-the-field webinars, for example, to get timely information out to farmers during the growing season. That worked extremely well. We adapted the Malt Academy, which is a training program that we operate for farmers to better understand markets, and we went virtual with that.
This year, our events team helped the extension team put on 2 in-person field days, Lacombe Field Day and Wheatstock. We also helped put on a virtual Malt Academy for our markets department and Chops and Crops for our government relations counterparts.
The Alberta Wheat Commission received a CAP grant to produce the crop protection guide for Alberta with our partners, Alberta Barley, Alberta Pulse, and Alberta Canola. The crop protection guide, or the Blue Book, will be released at the same time, in the same format, and have the same valuable information that farmers and agronomists have come to expect.
Just that very important resource when you have that quick question on product and usage, weather, mixing, all kinds of things, and you look up very quickly. We have the ability to add in new pieces of resource, so look forward to the Blue Book, new improved in the future.
Our agronomy extension platform really excelled this year, as we were able to offer digital content, including webinars, newsletters, and podcasts, in a year when extension programming was really limited in this space.
It's something that we have always been wanting to do, and we finally have had the resources to do it. The fact that we can actually have an agronomist on staff, he's non-partisan, and so the fact that he is there for the farmer is great.
Well, the Growing Point is really popular, and the new format, podcast, it's so important that we're in that space as farmers are tuning in more and more with that kind of material in their tractor, in their trucks, and on any time. And it's timely information.
We had a pilot project called Plot to Farm for on-farm agronomy and research. It's something we're looking at and encouraging, and probably in the future it'll be becoming more available to all producers to do their own on-farm research. It's important to not just have research done through other associations, but to have it done right on your farm, because it's important to see what happens on your own farm.
So last year's Prairie Cereal Summit was held in the Fairmont Banff Springs from December 11th to 12th and featured Alberta Barley's annual general meeting, a full conference agenda, and a fun pub tour of downtown Banff. It was a huge success with almost 300 participants. Full conference day agenda featured our keynote speaker, the Honorable Stockwell Day, Danielle Smith, Ted Menzies, and a grain transportation panel with Fiona Murray from CN Rail.
So Alberta Barley and Alberta Wheat Commission's board formed a subcommittee to analyze the potential merger of the governance models of both Alberta Barley and Alberta Wheat Commissions. So we've hired a consultant to actually develop a roadmap to analyze the future phases of a merger. And we will determine that by ensuring that we continue to provide value to our producers by conducting value proposition analysis, risk management analysis, and of course the financial and legal implications that could have on the governance, both structures, both commissions. So we have conducted an extensive process that started back in November 2018 to review the strategic priorities, the Alberta Wheat Commission operating plan, and the key objectives, while keeping in mind that we continue to provide ultimate value to our stakeholders. We've also developed an investment framework that is directly linked to these strategic priorities and will continue to support the department work plans for the next 5 years. As part of the strategic plan, we have developed key performance indicators to measure the performance and the value proposition for our producers.
Grains West provided a COVID-19 farm diary in which farmer and seed grower Sarah Hoffman wrote a 4-part series on how the pandemic was affecting her farming operation. 3 key feature stories were written, the first of which, COVID-19 and the grain flow. This was the port perspective and how grain flow shipments were affected in the Port of Vancouver. It's never like this, how Canadian pasta operations ramped up to meet the needs of a pandemic. PPE, MIA, the scarcity of protective equipment for farmers. Now, a companion piece podcast was also produced to cover this important subject matter. To read these stories and listen to our podcast episode, go to grainswest.com.
We see agriculture being on the forefront of the economic recovery in the province, and I think that's an area where farmers have proven that they can get back up and running in a normal fashion almost immediately. When you think of what they went through in terms of the 2019 harvest from L, there were some farmers still harvesting crops in April and May of this year, and yet they still managed to pull off an excellent crop, and that economic activity filters throughout the rural economy.